What about one of the questions that came in from the readership was about moments within a long course race, and this is specifically, I guess, for half Ironman and Ironman athletes who are going to be competing for 4.5 hours plus, all the way up to like 16 hours. Those guys have all expressed a moment within their racing and within their training as well, where they feel like they're about to drop out, they're about to give up and think, you know what, I just cannot attain this, I can't make it to the finish. And it normally comes at around between half and 2/3 of a way through a race. And actually once they work through that, then they get this kind of big, kind of almost like over the hill moment where everything starts to feel a little bit easier. Can you explain exactly what's going on there, kind of psychologically, and what are the things that those guys should focus on when they're in the mire, if you like, in that really kind of painful, uncomfortable, and kind of almost like boring part of the race, where actually it's tedium. Can you explain what's going on there?
Well, I mean, what's going on is a natural process. You know, you are pushing your body to its limits, mentally and physically, and there comes a point where the body and the mind says, I'm not so sure about this. You know, shall I take the option of stopping? And what we need to do is push through that. And you know, these sort of athletes are very, very good at doing that. So the first thing I'd say is accept that it's a natural point in a race. It happens to most people. It's normal. Don't get too uptight about it. When we've accepted that it's going to happen, then we're into the preparation phase for me. We acknowledge that it's going to happen during this particular period that you've identified. Right, what is my plan going to be? Let's create a plan in my mind. When I get to that point, what do I need to think about? What do I need to do physically? Is it a case of upping the intensity physically, or maybe to get me through that period, backing off a little bit? Maybe I experiment with those kind of things in practice. Maybe I could visualize. And the psychologists are obviously really big on visualization as part of my practice and preparation, to visualize myself at that point in time. What will it feel like? What do I think I'll be thinking about? Play that through in your mind, but then introduce the strategy that you've prepared. Right, sure. When that starts to come along, I need to be saying this to myself. Here's my mantra. Here's my short phrase, my trigger phrase. You know, and visualizing, rehearsing that phrase in your mind. Or it may be some physical triggers, you know, to do with breathing or physical sensations. So to me, the key is acknowledging that it's going to happen, not feeling bad about that, it's normal, then having a plan, constructing that plan carefully, being prepared, and then practicing the plan.
Sure.
In your mind, over and over and over again. So when that point in the race comes, it's not going to faze you. Okay, I know exactly what I need to do here. Here's my plan, and I just execute. Sure.
And then when you say a plan, what you mean is going back to like your processes that you've practiced and built up over your training period before the race, right?
Yeah, and that will vary from one individual to another. So it's a case of finding out what little mantra works best for you. Are there any physical elements that are going to work best for you? You know, where am I going to take my mind? Am I going to really associate my thinking with this pain and this, you know, threshold I need to get through? Or maybe the best thing for me is to disassociate.
Absolutely.
So I take my mind off the pain, and I've got a little plan that I'm going to be visualizing next year's summer holiday somewhere at that point. I mean, there's no right answer to this.
Sure.
The suggestion is, though, you need a plan and you need to practice that plan. But the plan will constitute, what will constitute the plan will vary from one person to another.
Absolutely. So